We're now in a new stage of President Trump's mass roundup of immigrants in Colorado. For the first time, a family has been arrested inside a courthouse. Some law enforcement had pleaded with immigration agents not to do that for fear that people here without authorization would stop coming to court as witnesses and as victims. Angeline McCall leads our immigration coverage. Angeline, this happened inside a courthouse in Denver today.
This morning, in fact, the American Friends Service Committee says that they expected something like this to happen. We've seen enforcement across the country. And this morning, a family of three, they say, were surrounded by 6 ICE agents while waiting outside of the courtroom in downtown Denver. An immigration attorney with the Rocky Mountain Immigrant Advocacy Network was actually there as it was happening and tried to intervene, but says ICE officers refused to allow the lawyer to speak with the family before taking them away. We're told this happened to a family of 3 with a 1.5-year-old at the Federal Immigration Court in downtown Denver. AFSC said because there has been enforcement at immigration court across the country for the past 10 days, they placed volunteers at the courthouse to hand out Know Your Rights flyers and watch for something like this to potentially happen and make sure that they were there at the time as well. We spoke with the immigration attorney that helped draft the state law here in Colorado that says ICE agents cannot do enforcement at local and state courthouses. That passed in 2020.
When ICE goes into courthouses and makes arrests of people, it sends a message of terror throughout the community and completely destroys the trust that we have worked really hard to build over the last decade.
That state law does not apply to federal courthouses like immigration court because the state cannot make law for courts outside of their jurisdiction. But advocates and lawyers say the sentiment and the impact that that has on the court system is the same, leading people, Kyle, to be fearful to go to court, and really faced with an impossible decision. For instance, go to your court hearing and get picked up, or potentially not go and then get a removal order on your record.
So when we talk about court hearings, it does not necessarily mean that anybody in this family was facing criminal charges. We don't know that yet because folks are going to court to appear on their immigration cases. They're doing what the system has asked them to do.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what the situation of this particular family is. What we do know across the country is that families have been dismissed, their cases have been dismissed, and then as soon as they're dismissed, ICE picks them up for being out of compliance. We don't know if that's the case here. What we do know is that there's still a lot of questions from advocates that they want answered. For instance, 1.5-year-old, we don't know what that means. They might be going to what's called a family holding center, but the ICE detention facility here, the GEO facility in Aurora, cannot hold children. And so advocates want to know where they are.
Where's the kid?
Where's the kid? Where are they now? Where are they going? Can we intervene?
And once again, we've talked about this a ton, right? Trump administration promised to go after the worst of the worst violent criminals. And what we've seen again and again in Colorado is they're actually going for the folks who are most compliant and therefore the easiest to pick up. Angeline McCall, thank you for your reporting as always.